Michael Cook in our studio. He gets up here this time of year every year for the Iowa Firefighters Memorial Service, which took place this past weekend. You know, Mike, we've had you in a number of times. I don't think we've ever talked about this service. How did it come about? What's it all about?
Oh, gosh, Gary. Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me on the show. About 29 years ago, I started playing ceremonial music at the Firefighters Memorial. It started, a gentleman by the name of Mike Ruman, volunteer firefighter out in Traer, and a business owner out there, was visiting. And I can't remember the particular state that he saw this memorial at. He says, Iowa needs to have something like that. So, they assembled a committee and things like that. They went out and got bids from different cities and localities that wanted to host and find the land and everything. And Coralville came out on top. And so there is probably one of the most beautiful memorial sites for fallen firefighters right here in Coralville, just a short drive away.
So do firefighters from other communities come in for this event, or how does that work?
Oh, gosh, yeah. It's attended by several thousand firefighters and their families and friends every year. It's a big event. We have a twilight service on Saturday evening in the dark, and then kind of like candlelight ceremony, and then Saturday is the big event, yeah.
And then you play the music for it.
Man, I started, 29 years ago playing patriotic and ceremonial and firefighter music. We actually have firefighter music.
Really?
We do, yeah. It's songs that are written and they're kind of cool and everything like that. Like talk about like our dark red engine and racing down the road, and oh yeah.
So now you do this not only for Iowa, but you were telling me other states as well.
Oh gosh, yeah. I can't even. I'd have to go back and look in my scrapbook of albums of all the brochures I have from all over the country. Heavens, yeah.
So I brought a poster. I wanted to give that to you the Union Jacks.
Yes.
Unfortunately, you've lost a couple of members of the Union Jacks. Joe Sanders passed away last year, and just recently, drummer Tom Kurtz. But you say you keep in touch with the other two guys yet?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Like I said, Ralph is pretty much fully retired. He pretty much stays home. And then Dave Bulow and Dave lives out there in Littleton, Colorado, and Dave still plays his basement. He's got his man cave, and he's got his music studio down there. And so we still stay in touch, and Dave plays with some of the bands there. And of course, I'm very active in Louisiana.
That is amazing that you two are still able to do something like that. So how did your love for music come about, Mike?
Oh my gosh. Mother and grandmother were both gifted musicians. Grandmother was a violinist and a vocalist, and Mom, of course, was a songbird and a pianist. And they said I was right around 2.5, 3 years old, and they said, they found me at the piano one day, and I'm twinkling out. I'm trying to play melodies. I'm like I said, I'm maybe a 3-year-old kid, and so they started me on formal lessons with the nuns at age 5, and then I quickly just took off from there.
Amazing. And the keyboards, I was asking you, because you played with various groups outside of the Union Jacks, I said, how many had keyboards? And you said not many.
No. I think the closest fellow that might have had a keyboard to me was Mike Murphy in Sterling, Illinois. We were just rarities.
And again, Mike Cook with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You were telling me it was 2006. I can't believe it's been that long.
The induction ceremony was 2006 for us.
And what was it like playing at the Surf?
Oh, it was a trip, man. It was like, wow, here we are, part of history. Wow.
And then in the picture there, the poster, you've got black rim glasses on.
Right.
And they wanted you to keep the glasses because of why?
Yeah, I was going to switch to contacts, and because at that time they were telling you, if the hard glass contacts would help fix your eyes to become round and you can see again without glasses. Well, the guy said, oh, no, you have that Buddy Holly look. We got to keep that. That's popular.
So now when you went in 2006, you had the opportunity to perform, and I know there were other groups that went in. Did you know those other groups at all?
No, we didn't know the other groups from other parts of Iowa. Most of them were younger than we were, and I think that's where the connection was. Because, like I said, '69 came along, and Dave Bulow and I both got our draft notices, and that was pretty much the end of the band.
So when the Union Jacks performed, and you went around the area, I mean, you just weren't in Clinton, Iowa. Did you cover songs or did you play some of your own material?
We did a little bit of both. You know, we had a couple of our original songs that we'd always play, and then it was mostly cover songs. The band was really a band that was, we were pretty much a rhythm and blues based band, kind of like what the Rolling Stones and the Animals did, and that was our forte.
Now, who wrote the music of your own material?
Joe wrote one song, and then Denny Jordan wrote another one, and that was the ones that were on the 45.
Now, you mentioned Denny Jordan, but he's not a member of the Union Jacks.
No, the band actually morphed out of Peter Bryan and the Disciples. Joe was not really playing with anybody's band, you know, in somewhat of a semi or permanent basis. The rest of us were, so we had all been comfortable with each other playing in the Peter Bryan Disciples band. But one thing led to another, and then they put together the Union Jacks, Mike Coons and Denny Jordan. They were in and out band members. They weren't really committed. And so one day, Dave Bulow and Ralph comes down to Bender Music, where I was working as a salesman, and they just says, Cookie, we just want you in the band because we can do this song. We can do a lot of Animals. We have a keyboard. We can do Dave Clark 5. We can do. I said, yeah, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, that is right. I mean, the Animals, Dave Clark 5. Yeah, you would fit in perfect with that. Did you have a favorite among those two?
I think the Animals, the Animals, Eric Burden and the Animals, man, those guys are just so creative and a fun group to follow.
Of course, everybody knows House of the Rising Sun.
That's gosh, yes.
So now, when you guys were playing together, was there always a song that you had to perform when you were out?
Oh gosh, yes. And, you know, of course, we had to do Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones, and Joe, of course, would just gyrate all over the stage, and people would just go crazy.
Yeah, you know, when you guys performed in 2006, you were at the Odeon,
right,
and had a little thing put together for you then. It was outstanding. I was amazed by Joe's movement.
Yeah, oh yeah, and he told me afterwards, "It's Cookie, I can't do this every night of the week."
You know, at that time, there were a number of groups. You were naming off the various groups in the area that you played for, the other groups. Why do you think that was, Mike?
I think everybody maybe had, I'm not really sure if it was a popularity thing, but I think a lot of it had to do with, it was a whole new type of music that had come around, and our generation, of course, loved, you know, live music and bands in particular, and I think a lot of people, everybody was hoping to be a star one day, or at least have a hit record.
And now you got DJs.
I don't even
Does
know.
that bother you that they're DJs rather than live music?
Well, you know, even DJs, live music is a strong staple in Louisiana. The DJs are definitely second place.
Okay.
And I see the DJs actually being replaced by, you know, the way the young generation is today with their cell phones and thumb drives, that they kind of like put their own music together and make up their own song list, and they're even pushing DJs out of the way.
Speaking of cell phones, I was out at the American Legion in Sola, and this young band, and they were high school kids, and they were putting together a band. Somebody made a request, and she was reading the lyrics to the song off of her phone while she was singing.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. I want to talk to you also about your firefighting. You're still active. Tell us about what you're doing.
Oh yeah, during the daytime, I guess you could call me I'm kind of like the North End volunteer chief, because you know most of the other fellows, the guys that are the volunteer chiefs, they work out of town. So during the daytime, man, it's tough. We don't have any youth with us during the daytime. My daytime crew is a 60-year-old, a 70-year-old, an 80-year-old, and me at 75, and we're stepping on and off the fire trucks. We're protecting communities like, I guess, we protect the area we protect, Clinton, Comanche, and probably Lowmore. That we cover a lot of territory.
And of course, you're in Louisiana, and I, immediately said, well, it's got to be hot and swampy down there. But you say the area you're at, not so.
It's not so, no. We're about 100 miles up from the coast, and then about 20 miles from the Texas border. So the blend of the two atmospheres, it's balmy. It's almost like living in Hawaii. if I can say that. I love where I'm at right now.
And you say the wildland firefighting is coming up?
Oh, my gosh. We may have as bad a season we did last year. It was Southern California for us. We had FEMA teams in from all over. We were getting the heck beat out of us. In fact, this went on for about 6 weeks. We didn't have rain since the 4th of May, and the fire season started the first part of August, and it was brutal. 4 or 5 serious fires every day. 2 of my volunteer firemen, younger members from another department, came to help us, and both these kids, the fire outran us, and it burned their cars.
Oh my goodness! Now, are you still active? You're directing. What role do you play in this firefighting?
Okay, I serve as a senior chaplain in the state, so obviously, mental health is a key part of my job. I'm still there. I'm pretty much like the head safety chief. The director of our fire district came to me several years ago. He said, Chief Cook, he said, I know you're retired. He said, well, one thing I want you to do. He says, whenever you get on scene, he says, you keep all these boys out of trouble. He says, you have my authority to drop the hammer. I said, okay, I will.
Just a couple questions, and again, thank you so much for your time. Great to see you every year. If it had to come down to either being a firefighter or a musician, which would you choose?
That's horrible because one's my profession and one's my passion. I don't know. I guess at this age, could I play music? I'd like to play music, but I don't know if I'd ever stop stepping on and off fire trucks unless my health stops me.
So tonight you're going to be at the basement?
Yes.
What time's that?
Basement. We start at 5:30 at the basement, 5:30 to 8:30. I'm going to do a bunch of Jerry Lee stuff because everybody wants to hear Jerry Lee songs that they've never heard before, and my connection with the Lewis family, of course, is very strong. And then tomorrow night, I'll be a featured guest with Brooke Byam on Music of the Avenue, and that, I believe, is 6 to 8.
So now I know you've played at her place, The View, before, and do you get along with Brooke?
Oh, my God, Brooke and I are pals. We met, she was 3 years old when she jumped up on stage with me at Woody's Rendezvous.
Really?
Oh, man, that's the connection there. They went in the Hollywood movie White Boys Together. That goes back to 1999, I think, or 97, something like that.
I know I've had her in a couple of times. Would like to get her in again. Tell her to get in touch with me.
I will.
And but she was in Nashville for a while.
Yeah. She was the afternoon matinee, I want to say, 8, 9 years with the Mandrell Sisters Theater. Oh, yeah, she's got Nashville connections just like I got Jerry Lee connections.
So, again, Thursday, Music on the Avenue. How does that work when you work with another artist?
I usually get a set list from them, and whatever I can accent with my keyboards, I jump in. A lot of times they'll ask me, hey, Chief, you want to do a Jerry Lee song or do something special? And I'll do something in between, sure.
Great to see you.
Thank you, Gary.
Enjoy your time in Clinton, and a safe trip on back to Louisiana.
Thank you, brother.
You're listening to AM 1340 KROS, Clinton, Iowa.
FM 105.9.
And KROSradio.com.
This is Radio Iowa. The U.S. Labor Department is ordering Quad Cities-based John Deere to pay more than $1 million in back wages to some 275 Black and Hispanic job applicants who face discriminatory hiring practices, including about 200 in Waterloo. Iowa City Police